Hello, everyone. I am here with Shannon Peel, who is an incredible marketer, and I love her brand, Appeal, marketing appeal, that cracks me up every time, and it's unforgettable. So I love that. And Shannon is especially good at helping people know what you want to be known for, like getting you known for what it is that you want people to know you for, and storytelling from a perspective of business.
Mhm.
So we're here to talk about brand storytelling today, and I want to hear about the summits that you're doing and the books and all of that stuff too. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm like so excited to be here. Glad I woke up early. So how are things on your end?
Yeah, so you're 3 hours earlier than me, I think. So and I'm so last minute when I send out these invites. I'm like, oh yeah, I have somebody coming Monday, like I have for the last year. Maybe I should send them the info.
And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I gotta go get dressed.
Someday I'll have a better system for this in place. I'm working on it. I love my systems. But
You know what it comes down to is a team. And unfortunately, most of us are on our own and we are doing the work of 4 to 5 people. And things do tend to fall through the cracks, get done last minute. I'm so far behind on my podcasting that I am just now posting stuff that I did in October.
ooh,
So I did all the stuff for Podapalooza in October, and I'm just getting to it now. And we're already having another Podapalooza. So, sorry. I'll be a good Canadian and keep saying sorry.
oh my gosh,
But
that's awesome.
it is the state of being on your own. And
It
we're
is.
competing against people who have teams of people because they're just that either that little bit further ahead of us, they have a job that pays for their day to day and they're able to have a little extra money to hire people to do the stuff that they don't want to do, or more than likely they're just ahead of us.
And it's so easy to get into that comparison trap, and forget that
Yeah.
they have more resources than you do. Like, how come
Mhm.
I can't keep up with this? Well,
Why
because
am I not? Why has this person got so much more content than I do? Um, because they've got
yeah,
4 people.
Gary V, like, yes, I
Oh,
publish 500 pieces of content on 16 platforms every single day. He's got a
yeah,
massive
yeah,
team.
but it's not good content.
She'll come after you.
No, you know what? Me and Gary Vee have already had this thing because I'll tell you, I tell my Gary Vee story quite a few times, but I'll tell you my Gary Vee story. So I was watching a video that he was talking about to millennials to give them some, and he was giving really good advice. And at one point I went, okay, I'm going to share this. So I shared it on Twitter and I said, hey, I'm not a Gary Vee fan, but you really need to watch this because he gets it. So I get this comment back saying, "Oh, we're sorry that you're not a fan of Gary Vee, but Gary Vee's a fan of Shannon P." And I'm like, "That's not what I meant." But that's what it comes out to. It's not the intent of our messaging that matters. It is
Mhm.
the interpretation that matters. They interpreted it one way, and I meant it in a good way. I meant like, "Hey,
Okay,
I'm not a fan.
excellent.
I'm not a big Gary Vee drink the Kool-Aid, gotta do everything this guy says, but I think he's really got it here." But they can also take it as, hey, I don't like him. But that's not what I was trying to say. I was just saying that I'm not his ideal audience. And that's okay. We don't have to
Our
be,
branding and
everyone is not going to be your ideal client. Everyone's not going to be a member of your ideal audience. And it's okay. And that's why we tell our stories in our way. So it resonates with the people who understand us.
yeah, I'm always telling people, don't be afraid to be really authentically yourself. I think a lot of us hold back with this fear that, well, we'll turn some people off. I'm like,
Mhm.
yes, good, do that.
You want to. In fact, When I reach out to people, on LinkedIn, I say, should we connect? I don't know. I'm looking at your profile thinking, hey, this is pretty good. I want to connect with this person. But do they want to connect with me? Now, I could go and say, hey, I want to connect with you, A, B, C, D. But they still don't know whether or not they want to connect with me.
Mm.
So I make it easy. I just say, hey, look, should we connect? And then I make you statements. You want to tell a brand story. You want to use speaking as a marketing channel. You want to publish a book. And then like I've got all these you wants. And then it's like, if you said yes, let's connect. Or if you said yes, you like my content, let's connect. Depends on how many characters I have left.
I was watching a YouTube video this morning and it made me so glad that I was talking with you today because it was it was about this marketing guy who's kind of taken off and his channel is growing super fast, and somebody else was kind of analyzing it and saying, how is he doing this? How is he getting so successful? And what it came down to was his story. His story is very compelling and he's sharing it a lot of places, and people are riveted by it and other people are reposting parts of it. So it's really not about what he does, it's about what he's accomplished and how he talks about it.
Does your story resonate with the audience? And if it resonates with the audience, guess what's going to happen? They're going to share it. They're going to want to hear more about it. It's like the Windsors right now. It's a train wreck, but we can't stop watching because it's someone's truth, and either it resonates with us or it doesn't. Now, personally, I think it's a train wreck, and Harry just should have moved to California and zipped it. But he chose not to, and that really is what it comes down to.
What writing a book is about. Like, he's just gone and really stepped in it with this book. Like, was that the wisest way to utilize a book as book people, you and I?
Yeah, he's using controversy, which is probably one of the best ways to get more social media, to get more people talking about you, to get more of what you want, right? Because it's controversial and people have an opinion when it's controversial. Now,
right?
But you got to be okay with the controversy. You got to be okay with picking a side and sticking to that side. A lot of brands in today's world are not okay with that, and they'll drop you the minute that there is controversy. And those are the big brands with big names that have put decades into their brand equity. And then there's other brands out there that are jumping on these bandwagons and saying, hey, yeah, Black Lives Matter. And that's great. If it does matter to you, if what your message is, like, that's resonating with you, that social movement's resonating with you, great. But are you living it in your business? If you are not living it in your business, do not jump on that bandwagon. Do not drive your truck to Ottawa to stake out Parliament Hill. Do not go to Washington, D.C. I mean, these are things that if you are going to take a stand, you have to be prepared for the fallout.
And do you think if you aren't like living it in your business, that comes across kind of disingenuous and like it's a crash grab, and then you get the people that you wanted to attract mad at you too, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I saw that happen time and time again during the Black Lives Movement matter, when people were, all these social media people were like, hey, we got to get on this bandwagon because this is where everybody's talking about, and we got to take your brand in front of people. And people are coming back going, yeah, but you don't hire one Black person. Your whole executive is white male. So you really have to know your values. You really have to know, okay, this is what we value. And then own it. Even if someone else thinks it's wrong, just own it. Because when that movement comes up, if a movement comes up, then you get on it because it will reflect who you are. It will reflect the charities that you support. It will reflect the people that you hire. It will reflect the words that you use. But jumping on a bandwagon just because it's a bandwagon is a big no-no.
Mm. Yeah, so that's kind of an important part about establishing your brand, knowing those values ahead of time so that when you see the sort of opportunity, you know if it's a good one to jump into, invest in. And even for us who are solopreneurs, it's still important to be building a brand, right?
Yeah, it is. It is so important for us to be building a brand. We're always building a brand. Everything that you do with your business, with your customers, every message that you make, every interview, this is brand building. Every time that you deal with a customer, whether or not you take an exchange, someone comes in to exchange something, whether you get a refund, every single little tiny thing that you do is a reflection of your brand and your values. And if you don't know those things and you haven't understood the core message of your brand, your behaviors, decisions, and words are going to reflect something different than what you say. And we all know what happens when you say one thing and do another.
Nobody buys.
There's no trust. You've broken trust.
Yes.
So it's very important not to just throw words up on a wall. It's extremely important for you to understand what are the core values of the leader, what are the core values of the leadership team. Communicate those to those people that are hiring so that they hire people who have the same values. And then you may end up with a homogeneous little group, but that's your business. Your business isn't supposed to, be everything to everyone.
Yeah. So how do
Even the
you
big ones
bring
aren't. As
these
much as Coke and Pepsi would love to think that they are the be all end all for everyone on the planet, there are people that are in the Coke camp and there are people that are in the Pepsi camp.
and there's people who don't like soda at all.
Exactly. A lot more of those happening nowadays.
So how do you bring books into this brand storytelling and branding yourself?
Well, books are a big piece of brand storytelling because, okay, so you've done a social media post. Okay, back up a bit, Shannon here. So we have this big book of information that you wrote. It says, hey, to the world, I know enough that I can fill a book on this topic. So I know enough to be an expert. It also enables you to then cut that material down into pieces so that you can build out that book funnel and all those steps in the customer's journey to ensure that you are guiding them from brand awareness right through to brand advocacy. And the book is just a piece of that. It's not the end all be all. Sorry, my nose is a bit here. It's not the end all be all. It's just a piece of the bigger brand and the bigger picture. We were talking about Harry's book just a little while ago. Now Harry is, every single time this couple presents the story, less and less people are interested. So you have to make sure that not only are you telling a story about your expertise, but you allow people to understand why that story is applicable to them. So start with the audience in mind.
Mm.
And when you're doing your promo, let the audience know why the book is going to help them. Why do they need the book? What problem would they be experiencing? What symptoms would they have in their life that would trigger, I need to go and buy that book?
Definitely.
And that's a very big piece of the book funnel, as we know.
Super important, yes. There's such a balance to be found between we as marketers talk a lot about think of your audience and be always saying what's in it for them.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, you need to be building that know, like, and trust, so they need to know about you too. So you have to find that way of balancing these two things where, yes, you do still talk about yourself to some extent, but everything is sort of framed from the point of view of why does it matter to them? Even you, like, what about me do you need to know because it matters to you?
Mhm. Well, exactly. You've written a book for a reason. You want to connect with an audience. You want your audience to know something more about what it is that you know. But, you know, if all they see is the cover, they don't really understand why should they be interested in opening the book. So go beyond the cover. Go beyond that whole don't, you know, what do we say? Something about judging people based on a cover. What's that saying?
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Don't judge a book by its
Is
cover.
something we all
So,
do? 'Cause that's
but
the
you
one
know,
that
if
you really should judge.
well, the big thing is like if you don't want to judge a book by a cover, you've got to crack open that cover a little bit. You got to let some of the inside out so that your audience can find those threads that they're interested in, those threads that resonate with them. And then they'll go, "Oh, I need to know more about this." But
I'm
you don't
sure
want
it
to give
won't
away
surprise
everything.
you to
I
know
mean,
that whenever I go to people's web pages with their book for sale, it's just like, here's the book, here's the Amazon link, the end.
yeah, and that doesn't tell me why I should want to buy it. But don't give away the farm either, right?
Mhm.
Like once again, back to Harry's book. I mean, a lot of the problem is that the media is telling everybody what is in the book, so nobody feels like they need to buy the book.
Mm, very true.
You know, I read one tweet where someone said, "I don't need to watch the interview. I just read about it on Twitter." Right? So you don't want to give away the farm, but you want to give away enough that people are curious. So I would it's always about what problem do they have, what symptoms are they experiencing. So it's more that those you statements, you're frustrated because you post online constantly, you spend a ton of time on social media, you write a blog, you get on a podcast, you get interviewed on this wonderful show, and yet at the end of the month you're still wondering where the money is. If this is you need to buy the book.
Hmm.
You've given them a reason. You've shown them that you understand their problem, and then it goes from there. Now, you do a good job of this because there still has to be that book funnel, which is what you built.
Absolutely.
And this is where those messages come in. So as you're building the book funnel for people, you're telling people why they need the book.
Hmm.
And then you're reminding them a little bit later when they just put their name in the cart, but they don't hit buy. Oh, but you know what? You forgot to hit buy. You need this book because, and that's what you do in such a wonderful way.
That is what I do.
I feel like
And
I'm a lovely
one of the really cool things, I'm going to practice my Indian head wobble. One of the cool things that you do is help people to actually have a book to put into a funnel.
Yes,
So
I help people ghostwrite. Well,
this is
no, I ghostwrite.
you have a few kind of ways of helping with this because there's like different tiers. Because some people are like, oh, ghostwriting, that's going to be way too expensive if I have
Yeah.
somebody else write a whole book for me. But you've got like a white label pre started book kind of.
Yes. So basically, what I do is I've got a bunch of topic books that you can utilize either as a lead gen. You can break it up into different lead gen or lead magnet pieces, or you can give it away as a giveaway. And you brand your name, you put your name on it as the author, and away you go. Or you can buy the personalization package, and then I interview you and I talk to you, and then I add 16 pages about your story, and then you add that to the beginning, and you're able to. I mean, if you want to, you can put that up into Amazon and sell it as the book because it is your story within the topic. Now, if you want a full book that you can print out, you're going to have to get like maybe 4 different topics, and then we'll personalize each topic, and your story weaves through these topics that you're an expert on.
I
And
love that
that's
you have these different options and people can go to the level that they're at and then very quickly have a book because
mhm.
books are so powerful in marketing. So that's
Yeah,
genius.
because having a ghostwriter can be quite expensive. You know, it's you know, You're lucky if you can get away with it 10,000, and then you still have to get the book graded and published and everything else. It's not easy, but there's also coaching. So if all you need is someone to say, hey, look, I need to figure out what to put in this book, we sit down and I break it down, and we create the table of contents, and we break out each chapter with its own table of contents, and then you go and you can write each piece. And I make sure that you do it by saying, what did you write this week?
That accountability part, yes.
I always say my mom would make a great accountability coach. She's just really good at that. It's about doing the action and about getting across that, have you done it? This is a priority for you. You said it was a priority. What's getting in your way of actually getting it done? So that's where a book coach comes in. That's where someone that comes in and says, hey, look,
It'd be really easy to put on the back burner. Like, yes, I'm going to do that thing. I'm going to do that thing. But first I got to do this. And it never gets done.
Yeah, I'm very much, I focus. I'm a hyper-focused type person. So I get a ton of stuff done. I was like, how do you do so much? I'm like, well, let's see. Because I don't do anything else. I just focus. I know what I want and I work on it until it's done. But not everyone can do that because they've got a husband, they've got kids, they maybe have another job, or they have clients that call them 50 times a day. These things, I got rid of all those things.
Shannon famously doesn't have a phone.
Mm-hmm. I don't have a car and I don't have a phone. So, but it means that I don't get distracted and I'm able to focus on what I need to focus on. But I'm very unique. I know most people have a life and most people have people that make demands of them. And when those demands come in, I used to have the habit of pushing what we want onto that back burner. And when you want that book done because you want to use that book as a way to become a speaker or remind people that you are an expert. And, I helped one person write a book and the next thing I know, it's like, yeah, no, this guy that I knew so many years ago called me up and I'm now doing this whole program for their organization. It just was a good reminder that he existed and he knew what he was talking about. Yeah. So if you want a book for those reasons, you have to write the book. And unfortunately, with distractions, that's the first thing that gets pushed to the book back because it's not easy to sit down and type in those words.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have that same immediate gratification that some other tasks do, like cleaning your kitchen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's all those other things that come in and, you really have to understand, why is this so important for me? And how fast can I get it done? If you can get it done fast and over and done with, then the rest of it can, stay on the back burner. Because there's always another project. There's always another thing.
There definitely is, yes.
So having someone in your corner who can call you up and say, look, what have you done? Let's meet once a week. Let's see what you've done. Let's see how far you've gotten. Have you gotten far enough? Now, that's what coaches are about. And as you know, I don't take many of those clients, right? Because I have something else on the go. So, I'm about getting you in front of your ideal audience.
And
do that in a number of different ways.
So one of the other ways that we definitely want to talk about is summits.
Yes.
And the fact, I think people do not even realize when they hear you talk about the summits, the book aspect of the summit. Because a lot of people will do like a summit after the book is published. Like, okay, now let's get some promotion for this book. All the authors are going to be on the summit. But you do it the other way around, where the summit happens and then everybody's talks gets gathered into a book for them.
Yes, I'm a digital publisher. So I publish digital books. These are not ebooks. They're not stuff that you find on Amazon. This is a specific type of digital book where it's multimedia, it's interactive, and it's dynamic in that it can be changed over time. Now, what I do is I have the summit. I then create all the content is created at the summit. I then create this book and I embed the videos. I embed podcasts. I have articles that are written. I would have, hey, here's the lead magnet for this person. Click here to go download it. Here's some information on the offer. Here it is right here. Click to go get it. Polls, social media widgets. Like there's so many things that I can put into a book, into this type of digital book. It's basically a website. It just, each page uses book technology in order to appear like a book, and it guides you through the bigger story. But each book in itself, just like every summit in itself, answers only one question. Gives you a how-to help you solve your problem.
So you're doing a number of different summits on different topics. Another thing I think that's really cool about what you're doing is when people have an expertise and they come to you and you're like, okay, well, we don't have that topic on the docket, so let's create it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So exactly, like as soon as someone puts in the deposit, which is, there to let me know that you are serious and you're committed and you're ready to go forward. I meet with you. I talk to you about your topic. I talk to you about your ideal audience. If I can plug you in, great. If not, well, let's talk about starting another one. Choose a week and let's do it. Each summit is 5 days with 15 presentations. And with those 3 presentations a day with a, panel, a couple of networking events, and everyone's ticket includes all the replays, all the live, and the book itself. And the first one is January 30th already. Oh, I'm waking up stressed. It's like I wake up and it's like, oh, I gotta do this. And I roll out of bed and it's like, okay, I gotta go do this. Because it's so close. January 30th, we're having the How to Stand Out Summit. This is how to stand out in 2023. So that marketing that I was talking about earlier, where you keep doing it and you just don't feel like you're standing out, people aren't hearing you. That is definitely how the problem that we're going to be talking about. And each presentation has to answer the question, how can you stand out in today's digital marketplace? And then the next one is all about how to go beyond trauma for a better life. We even have one, how to embrace equity in the workplace.
Wow.
I'm looking for speakers for all of them, and tickets are available on my website. They're only $25. And like I said, that includes all live, all video, and the book at the end.
Very nice. So your website is?
marketapeel.com. And you spell appeal, A-P-E-E-L. So go to marketapeel.com. In the upper right corner, you can click for the summit, or you can click on Create Appeal. And that'll take you to where you need to go as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, see, Carolyn loves all the fact that, what do I got? I got Market Apeel, Brand Apeel is a podcast, Appealing is the magazine, Unpeeled is the blog, Create Apeel is the programs.
I'm easily entertained.
And Book Apeel is all the book stuff.
And these digital books, I remember back when this technology of put a magazine on the website first came out, and it was pretty clunky, but I think it's come a long way.
Well, a lot of it is still, you take a PDF of a print magazine and you put it online and it flips and you can't read it. I use a program that enables me to design for the way that we interact with our devices. You can read the words because I make them big enough. It's
an important part of a book usually.
It's a very important part of a book. You can read it on your laptop, you can read it on your desktop, you can read it on your phone, you can read it on your tablet. It does all the things. But the program I use enables me to do the multimedia piece. It enables me to embed that video. So you just click and watch the video. It's connected to my website. So if, I write the article and then you click on it and the rest of the article pops up and down it goes. I can put in comments. I can make it engaging for the reader. It's
Wow.
different
I like
in
how you
that
described it
it
as
is a website,
telling a
it's
story.
social media, and it's a book.
Yeah. It's like a funnel. It's like a funnel is like a story where you're starting at one end and it's guiding you and helping you understand like what you need to know each step of the way.
Yeah.
Very cool. And you don't just do this for the summits. You have this people can do a solo like digital book.
Yes. If they want their own digital book, if they have a program, courses, or they just want to, in fact, I'm doing one for my novel
Oh.
where I can put in different things. But my novel's become a program. It's become a program about how to change your narrative from victim language to hero language
Mm.
because I had to do that. And when I was writing the novel, I was still in the mud pit of my life. I just, was in the middle of losing. I just lost everything. And, life was so bad. And my language reflected that. I sounded a lot like Harry. It was that, woe is me, everyone else is to blame kind of language. And so what I've done is I've broken this novel up into chapters. And at the end, it's, who do you relate to? Which person? Identify those words that are victim and identify those situations that are hero. And do you sound like this person? If you sound like this person, how can you sound differently? Why did that character react to that character in that way? So a lot of using the novel to help people understand that we a lot of times create our own problems because we're so focused on them.
This is like having a book club discussion on steroids.
Yeah, pretty much. And then,
Questions at the back of the book, like, what did you think about this character? It's like, whew.
yeah, and I can throw in some video where I'm explaining things a little more and, interviewing people about their own stories and their own victim and throw that in there. And like I said, it's a dynamic book. So you can buy the advanced copy, but it's because that book is getting built and you can be a part of that building of the book. And that's the difference between Amazon and what I do. Because you can be part of the story. You don't have to be in the book if you don't want to be, but you can be. But you can be part of the story. I'm able to put in comments. I'm able to put in a social media feed where you can page that isn't Facebook or anything. It's on my website, and you're able to make those connections with people that are kind of going through the same thing, and you can have those conversations.
That's amazing. I feel like
Those
that's
club conversations.
terrific book. All these times people talk about Web3, and I'm like, I don't get it. What's so special about Web3? Now, this sounds like Web3 to me.
Yeah. There's a lot of great things about Web3, and Web3 is the decentralization of. It's about owning your own audience. It's about owning your own community and not being at the mercy of Facebook or basically Zuckerberg or Elon Musk or anyone else or even Bezos, who says your content can be seen, but your content cannot.
Yep. Yep. Of course, we talk about that a lot in funnel building with why you need your own email list. But
Very important.
able to have community spaces as well is really, really helpful because the email list it's very personal, it's very one-on-one, but you can't have that larger discussion with people. Like you can't have multiple voices in that one email talking with each other.
But you need that email in order to bring people back, because I use email to bring people back to the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't. Somebody messaged me yesterday saying, oh, I posted this on Facebook and LinkedIn last week. Didn't you see it? No. I don't sit on LinkedIn and Facebook. In fact, I don't even go onto Facebook.
People only see it if you're lucky.
Yeah, exactly. But at least with email, and if you use your email list properly, you can see if people opened it up. If they didn't open up, you can remind them because people get busy. But the thing is you can interact with people more on a one-to-one. Now, there's the whole thing about managing your email and spam and all this other stuff. And I'm in a summit this week about build your list. It's called Build Your List. No, Ace Your List is what it's called. And it is about building that email list and how important it is.
Still important. Yep.
It's so important. And email's been around since before, since I was born.
Yeah.
I'm just like, how can I say this without sounding old?
I don't think I started using email until like the year 2000, but it was around.
It was around. And the first spam went out before 1980 and made like $13 million for the company.
How things have changed.
How things have changed. It's nowhere near as effective. And you got to be a lot more smart. Oh my goodness. A lot smarter.
We're writers.
A lot smarter than the average bear. So you got to be a lot smarter. And you have to focus in on the audience. So once again, are you utilizing I as the pronoun, or are you utilizing you as the pronoun?
Mm-hmm.
And you know that.
I do.
And that's a great thing about book funnels and list building. And the other great thing about funnels is that you build the book funnel and it's still good 5, 10, 15 years later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like to tell the story about my romance novel that still makes sales. I don't do any promoting. I don't have any ads. I have nothing going to it. But thanks to SEO, it still makes a couple of sales every month. People talk about, passive income, and everybody thinks in terms of these huge numbers. So one day on Facebook, somebody was like, tell me the truth about your passive income. And I was like, I make $15 a month.
Hey.
But hey, if you could do that once, you can do it again. So
and then it becomes about like, what if you had 10 romance novels? Mm-hmm. You might be making $150 a month.
And what if I actually put some promotion effort into it? Exactly. I don't have time for that right now, but if I did, oh boy.
I have a couple out there. I'm just thinking, I got to get rid of those. How do I get rid of those? Because sometimes you put them on a platform and you're like, I forget how to log in. I can't, or it doesn't have an easy way to delete it. Even my novel that I'm talking about, That's Life, you can't get it anywhere but on my site because I've pulled it off of everywhere else. I mean, it used to be called 40 something. And there's some great reviews out there. So if anyone wants to know what it's about and how great it is, there are reviews, but it's under the title 40 something. But I pulled it off because it's like, you know what, because I was going to do it a different way. And I can't put this book onto Amazon. Amazon is not structured for this way. But once again, I get the email, not Amazon.
Yeah,
I know who's reading the book, not Amazon. I get to connect with the audience. I get to engage with them. But then I'm able to do that because the book has, hey, what do you think of this? Write your comment here. Mm-hmm. Or, hey, go to the social thing here and let's talk about this. Or I can do a video like this, throw in some podcasts. I could read it. And they can click and go, okay, I don't want to actually read this. Click, let Shannon read it to me.
Ooh. Very nice.
There's that as well.
I love that. I think books can actually be in different parts of your funnel. Mm-hmm. So I was having that realization because I wrote a short ebook about how to build book funnels, and I've been selling it on my website. And I was like, I should format this and put it up on Amazon. And I kept on not doing it. And I finally dug into why am I not doing this? And I realized that that's not the place that book has in my funnel. That book is a lead magnet. It's on my website for people to give me their email address. But I'm going to write a different book that purpose will be to bring people from Amazon back to that website.
And that's the hard piece. How do you get that to go from Amazon back to your website? Because they buy the book, and if it's a print book, it's totally offline. If it's the e-book, well, it's online, and hopefully, you've put in some links, and they're able to link back. or you've used a QR code and they're able to go back to the website, and hopefully then they'll give you their email address at the website.
But that book on Amazon, I think it's more for like brand awareness.
Mm-hmm. I wrote a book and it's for sale on Amazon, and I played the game, and I'm, best-selling author on Amazon.
And when people are searching on Amazon and they see that and they're like, have I heard about this Carolyn Choate person before?
Mm-hmm.
It's tickling their brains a little bit.
But it's not just good enough to put it on Amazon and be good, and that's it.
Still got to promote.
You don't sell anything that way. Trust me, I tried. It didn't work. I can tell you a million ways it doesn't work. You have to get out there. You have to tell the story. You have to promote. You have to give enough of it away that people go, I want that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you have to get those email addresses. You have to be able to connect with your audience. And that's one thing about Web 2.0 is the audience isn't owned by you. It's owned by someone else. Your Facebook group is not owned by you. It's owned by Facebook.
Yeah. It's a very challenging thing to wrap our minds around.
Right. And
it's such a community on Instagram, and then you can get hacked and lose all of it just in a blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the other thing, of course, is that, but that's where people are. That's where people go. That's where you get seen. And it's hard to pull people off of Facebook into your own community and then have them come back to that community, because they'll go back to Facebook because that's where they are. That's where everything that they need is. They don't want 30 different
we were just talking about this morning too. I have a friend who's got her community on something called Heartbeat. I'm like, never heard of this. How am I going to remember to go back and log into it all the time?
I know, like I'm in some communities through Mighty Networks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really great because you can go back and, you got this list of communities that you can go into. But you still got to get people to go back to those communities because it's not Facebook. Right?
A new habit you have to develop to go to these communities. You got to be really highly motivated because it's just so easy to fall onto Facebook.
But that's where the email list comes in. That's where the email list comes in, because if you are doing it right and you're maintaining your email list right, I have an 70 to 80% open rate, because if you don't open my email for 3 months, bye, because I'm going to assume it's going into spam, and I don't want that affecting my email rating, because there is your email address has an email ranking.
That's smart. I should do that.
If people aren't opening it, they're not interested anymore. And I'm not going to ask them if they're interested. I'm just going to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Of course, I've had people come back. I've seen people in events and they go, I don't get your emails anymore. Because you didn't open them, obviously.
I took you out. It sounds so personal when you put it like that, but these email platforms just do that for you, for anybody who doesn't know. Like what I'm doing right now is I have my Monday email that goes out to the whole list, and then a Wednesday and Friday email that only goes to people who opened an email. So those people who aren't as interested aren't getting 3 emails a week. But I think I might do what you're saying, and every once in a while just clean out the people who have never opened an email, because why not?
Well, think about it. If you have an email list, if you have a decent sized email list, like my program, I can have 5,000 emails. After that, I got to start paying another, it can add up really fast.
Yeah.
And if you've got a massive email list, you're paying hundreds to $1,000 a month for just to be going into someone's spam? I can get you some spam. Just go down to the grocery store and it's in the canned aisle. If you're really that interested in talking to spam, but what you want is to make sure that it's getting open, because like I said, your email has a ranking. And if you don't want Gmail and Outlook and all of those other programs to put your email into spam, you need to make sure that your ranking is good. And they look at things like bounce rate, whether people are opening it up, What's your open rate? What's your click rate? What's your bounce rate?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we're going to rank this. This is obviously a crappy email address. Is it a Gmail address? That's a negative, right?
You don't want to be sending your marketing emails through Gmail. It's not a good idea.
Right. Like if you need to have a .com domain email address to get some extra points.
You really do. I had a .life domain for a little while, and it made a big difference to change it to .com.
It does. It makes, well, and because when it's a free email like Gmail, the system knows that spammers don't want to pay money for these things, so they use Gmail. So you got to try to figure out how you can let these email address people or systems know that you're not a spammer. Well, what would spammers do? How do spammers act? What are they doing? And just don't do it. Now, that said,
opposite of that.
I can be pretty bad.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Well, if you listen, my whole thing at Let's Ace Your List summit this week, I think I'm on Saturday. I talk about how I use spam tactics to build my list fast. But that doesn't mean I keep.
You don't. It's amazing because you're doing this churn and just keeping the good ones. It's
just keeping the ones that want. I'm just introducing myself. And
a 70 to 80% open rate is staggering. Like on my Wednesday and Friday, that is only sent to people who open my emails, 48% open rate. So that's something for everyone to keep in mind. So.
Well, even that, because like like that's my email list. Like I've got different email lists because I've got one right now that's for the speakers of my summits, and I think its open rate is 55%. So it's like, hey, you guys are paying to be here. You should be opening this up on Monday.
You've gotten foiled. You're so used to this high open rate.
Yeah. But once again, it's because if you're not opening it, you're obviously not interested in what I have to say. And I don't get bothered if people unsubscribe because I have 10,000 emails sitting in a list where people were opening up and I had to move them up because they weren't opening up enough that I can put back and test again. Right? So, because what I was writing about 2 years ago is different than what I write about today because my business has changed. I was an agency. that did work for clients. I no longer am an agency that does work for clients. Hence, not having a phone. I work on now getting people in front of their audience by building the platforms. Right? So you come to me to get into my show, to get onto my podcast, to get into the summit, to be on my website, because my website is SEO managed. My podcast is out there, just like this is, right? You got an audience. My summits are a managed collaborative. So I'm managing all the speakers in there to make sure that everyone is pulling their weight. And if they're not, well, there's a penalty. Right? Because if you're in a summit and you got like 15 speakers and you've been there, I've been there, you do the promotion and you do this and you sell tickets and you bring people in and 80% don't. And then what happens? That 80% gets the benefit of all the work of the 20%.
Group projects.
And that's not fair, right? But if it's managed projects, and once again, I'm able to say, you know what? I only take 15 speakers per week, per topic. So with so many businesses out there, if in the past you didn't participate, I can always say, you know what? Sorry, I know you got business out of it, but I got speakers here who don't see any value of you sharing the stage with them. I mean, that said, I also pay 50% affiliate rate for ticket sales and book sales. It's like 50%. You guys sold tickets, you're there, boom. So there's a lot of incentive for these speakers to participate and to work together to create something great for the audience. I don't know. I keep talking. We're supposed to be talking. Am I supposed to be talking?
Yes. This is your interview. You're here to talk.
I feel like I've been talking for like an hour. Oh yeah, because I have been.
You have been. Yes, we have been. So we should wrap things up. This has been amazing, and I've got some thoughts, some ideas to noodle on. I'm going to change how I'm doing my email list. So.
Well, we definitely, I mean, you're so busy, I'm so busy, and yet we keep on saying we got to get together because I have a bunch of, what do you think? I have a bunch of things for you to do. Do you think I got a bunch of books that are going to need
funnels?
Every summit is going to need a funnel. Always be funneling. I love it. Is that yours, or did you buy it from someone else?
I made it on Canva. It's got my logo on the back too.
Awesome. Awesome. Now you need to do you have that in an e-store?
Not yet, but I will. Gotta get my YouTube merch.
You know, there's so many things. You just got to do what you can do when you can do it.
That's true. I have a long list, including writing another book. So.
Another romance book or another book on funnels?
No, another book on funnels, because I want to put it in Amazon for that awareness and to bring people from Amazon, because I don't want the book I have now doing that job.
So. Right. Well, it's about getting being seen in all the places that your customer goes along their customer journey. And that's why you need to understand the customer journey so you can map out how you're going to build your funnel. Like I've been building my funnel for 2 years before I finally said, okay, here, now I'm going to monetize. It took me 2 years to find something that I could do to monetize, but you know, it was still the building.
That's a good idea though. Whoosh.
I found the right idea.
That is awesome. So yes, we will get together one-on-one at some point soon, and I'm so glad that you were able to come on my podcast.
Anytime, and I have to have you on Brand Apeel one day when I've caught up.
Yes, from October, and you're about to have more Potapalooza people. So.
Sorry. I'm a good Canadian girl. I was actually going to go outside. I was going to go outside and do this podcast outside because.
How is the weather? Is it freezing? Oh, we don't even have any snow yet here in Baltimore.
But like I always say, I'm a good Canadian girl, and like in the Ice Princess, I melt in the heat. So I was going to do it outside, but yeah, no. An hour sitting in the cold.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for this length of time, I don't know. That might be a poor idea.
I mean, like any animal that swims in the Arctic Ocean, I do have enough blubber to keep me warm, but
since I put on weight, I'm like, wow, I just don't get cold anymore. This is kind of cool. Like, I grew up in Massachusetts. It's pretty chilly there. Now I'm down in Maryland. In the winter, I'm like walking around in sleeveless shirts, and people are like, oh my God, where are you from? And I'm just like, when I lived in Massachusetts, I was cold all the time. But I've gained 50 pounds since then. So
I know. I always laugh at people. Like, I live in Vancouver now, where like I'm not in Vancouver right this moment, but I live in Vancouver, downtown Vancouver, and I always have to laugh when people are wearing winter coats, and it's like 3 or 4 degrees, 5 degrees out, and you're like in a winter coat. It's like, there's not even snow on the ground, people. It's raining.
Yeah, it's all context. It depends what you're used to, where you come from,
and how much of that blubber you have on your body.
Yes, context. All right. Well, I will say goodbye and end things here. And thank you again.
Anytime. Thank you. This was so much fun.